How long you think it was gonna take before we got here? Now you gotta prove yourself all over again. Come on.
Ain't nobody coming, I've been gunning from 100 yards, trying to hit my mark, missing every time. This'll be the start of the picture perfect. Watch you.
Good morning, Mr. T to Hollywood. Hey, hump day.
Hump day.
Indeed. Yesterday was a funky day. I mean, you did all right at Parks. I think you had that early pick 4, and I was kind of salty with myself with not having that pick 5 because I said in the show that 7 horse really frightened me. I should put it there instead.
Yeah, you did, and that 7, as far as my handicapping system, it came up as number 1, but I put it as my 3rd pick, and I should have used it as my first. But I did win the first 2 pick 4s, so that was nice.
Yeah, well, yeah, it would have been nice. I was a little bit salty about that, but should have had it. Feel bad because a lot of I think every other horse was either the 1st or 2nd pick, so I didn't need to go so deep in other races. So be it. That is horse racing. Was a really good show last night with Matilda Burnham.
I liked her.
Yeah, young lady, got a lot of charm, has a lot of personality. Certainly seems to be very active as well. So if you haven't had a chance to catch that out, great smile, great story, great what would you say, attitude, Terry?
Yeah, and she's riding horses out here in Northern California.
She says she does about 10 a day in the morning, right?
On exercising them. But she rode at Pleasanton, and she's going to ride at Sacramento. Mm-hmm. So, and I'm hoping what they do, I don't know if they're going to do this, but I'm hoping what happens is that the Golden Gate Fields days, meet days, go to Pleasanton. They've talked about that in the past, so we'll see.
We'll see if indeed they do that. If they do, maybe Matilda will be there. If not, she's gonna, Sean's gonna see if he can become an agent maybe, and he'll get her some spots out there in at Parks or out in that mid-Atlantic area. And I actually had a cameo yesterday, so you can check that out too.
Yeah, I did. I saw you there. Yeah, I wish him luck too. I hope he does get that. So
yeah, no, I mean, Sean's making a lot of connections in there, so he's probably benefiting the most out of this than anybody else. Me, you, Tom. Anyhow, tonight he and Jamie will be back on. Jamie's actually had some fortune from this too. The America's Best Racing, saw her in an interview on Horse Center. She's going to be doing some stuff. Can't announce it. I don't want to break her news for her, but I think you might see more of her on there. Tonight, they'll have a first of a kind on the show with Jamie and Sean, a clerk of scales. Danny Hamilton will be on the show tonight with Sean and Jamie, so make sure you tune in for that. Should be another interesting story. I mean, you're going to learn more about horse racing here, the people behind horse racing here, than any place else, Terry. And to make sure you don't miss any of it, you only have to do something pretty simple. It's free, and it's a great way to help us and get more informed on your end.
That's right. You need to go and subscribe on YouTube and hit the little bell so you're notified anytime that there is a program to see. And then also give us a like and thumbs up there. And then go to our social sites such as Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter, and Threads. At the horse race, the number 2 day, and go ahead and give us a thumbs up and also likes there. Let your friends and relatives know on YouTube. You can go down at the bottom there and copy the
hit the share
link
button. Yep.
Yeah, hit the share button. Get the link, copy it, and paste it into your social networks and send it to all the people you know, so they can enjoy this too.
One other item, real quick. Over on our Facebook page, probably on our Twitter page as well, you will see details for a contest that starts tomorrow. Saratoga Del Mar Jockey Survivor. You pick one jockey a day at one of those tracks. If they win, you survive, you advance. If you lose, adios, senor and senoritas. But it's going to be $10 to play this time. Usually we did it for free, but what we're going to do is we're going to take that money and we're going to donate it 100% of the net proceeds. The folks that do charge us a little bit of money for the transaction, so minus whatever they charge us, 100% of everything else is going to go directly to some aftercare program. Looks like we're going to work with Donner Brothers right now, maybe a second one. Haven't heard back from that yet. So it's a great way to play a contest. Sean's going to get some great contest. What would you call them? Gifts? I don't know if you want to call them gifts. What are they? Prizes. That's what I'm looking for. So you'll probably get like a whip or a signed photo, something like that. So Sean is going to get a list of some great prizes. A great way to help charity, have a lot of fun, help the horses, and of course, show that you have an acumen of picking winners, Terry.
Yeah.
How about that?
Sounds good.
All right. Well, that's what we're going to do. Again, you can find the details for that over on our Facebook page, Twitter page at Horse Race, the number 2 day. Today, you and I are going to do Horseshoe Indianapolis. Terry, we're going to start, of course. Should we do random races today or go in order?
It's up to you. It doesn't matter to me.
Nah, we should go in order. Anyway, go ahead. What's up in number 1?
All right, it's a 6 furlong claiming $5,000 claiming price. The purse is $12,500 for 3-year-olds and upward, which have never won 2 races. Pretty simple.
Mm-hmm. Very straightforward. And also what we do around here is we go ahead and we do simulations, 1,000 simulations using speed figures. And then based upon those simulations, how frequently the horse produces the top speed figure, meaning it won the race, convert those to odds and then compare them to the morning line odds, looking for some value, as the horse players like to say. We also screen for 1,000 times who might have the lead or what the percentage likelihood is they'll have the lead at the quarter-mile marker. If you follow American racing, you know that about 60% of the time, the horse that's on the lead or at least forwardly placed wins. And then C-zone, based upon our projected pace of the race, which horses are likely to have the trip that best mirrors their winning efforts. So there you see, the higher the number, the better. Terry, what's in the data?
That's right. If you look at those percent lead at the quarter pole, you're going to see the 1, 4, and 5 have the most speed, but the 1 shows the most speed and may have a benefit with that rail. Mm-hmm. And then the 1 has a really nice overlay. It's supposed to be like 4 to 5, and it's listed at 5 to 1 on the morning line. C-zones, they all have decent or at least some C-zone numbers except for the 3.
And you mentioned the 1 maybe having an advantage on the rail. The profile of a winner does favor early speed, Terry. So YOLO Santiago, you only live once, Santiago, might have a shot to do something with that because 39% of the time they go wire to wire. Post positions are mostly fair, 8 and out, a little bit of discount. That does not come into play today. And then race number 1, we also do pace handicapping here. We do our old-fashioned handicapping. We do qualitative handicapping, quantitative handicapping across the board. We mix them up into a mosaic and see what we come up with. But here you can see a race where there's not a horse that necessarily is lead dependent. In fact, there aren't any that want to be pilots. There aren't any that can pilot or co-pilot. That's the EP, can pilot or co-pilot. P's tend to be your co-pilot types. PCs are versatile horses. They can come from anywhere on the track. None of those today. And your C are your closers. They want to come from coach, sneak their way into first class. Early speed-wise, at a race distance, that does favor early speed. Got a trio of them up there, the 6, the 7, and the 4. Jahez being a closer that's moving forward today is what we call a left arrow horse around here. That is, again, proprietary to horse racing today. As far as late speed is concerned, look at that. That left arrow horse, Jahez, has some of the most late speed along with the 3 Neo King. I guess maybe that's a little bit of a play on the Matrix. And then finally, you have Jahez as the top total pace horse. So there's not a big difference between it all the way down to Neocon. The Blazing Justice and Even Money may be a touch behind the others. So I would imagine out of this top 5, Terry, is where you're going to find your winner.
Yeah, I like this number 3. This race to me is kind of wide open, but I like the 3 Neo King. He finished in the money in 2 out of 3 races at Horseshoe Indianapolis. He won one of those races. He drops in class for today's race. Number 6, KJ's Legacy is my second choice. He won his last race at Horseshoe Indianapolis and has the highest speed figure at today's distance and the best dirt speed among today's starter. And then the 4 Jahez, he can improve while returning to the dirt and drops the class today. He's my third pick. My long shot's the 1 YOLO Santiago. He drops in class today. His best dirt speed is fastest among today's starters. He's actually tied with the 6. And he has a high percentage winning trainer who wins 33% of the claiming races he has an entry in. I'm going to play a $2 daily double. I'm going to play the 1, 3, 4, 6 with the 3, 5.
I like the 6 horse KJ's Legacy. Did get the maiden claiming win last out. Not the biggest fan of maiden claim risers, unless, Terry, they run the top last race speed figure. That's something JK's Legacy did achieve. Did do that with better fractions, and all of the internal numbers were better across the board. I'm expecting a better performance in the third start after a layoff. Number 1, YOLO Santiago. This horse drops in class. in its first race since the little bit of a break in here. Would have liked to see some work since that May 30th, but you can't ignore that big percentage early lead there, strong C-zone and overlay. Whenever we see like a trifecta up top here like this with the strong sim odds, good chance to get the lead, decent C-zone score relative to everybody else, those horses tend to perform well. Number 3, Neo King, dropping multiple classes, usually closes. The lone win came at 6 furlongs. I don't know that in this race, it might be a little too far off the pace to catch them at the end. Finally, Jahez, the 4-horse, top total pace horse, as we saw in the pace handicapping. A couple of maintenance workouts between races should keep this one sharp. I'm going to do a 50-cent pick 5, real cheap one, Terry. 1-6 with the singling to 3, singling to 5, 2, 4, 5, 7, 1, 3, 4, 8. So you know what'll probably happen, Terry, is I'll get the first 3 legs with the short picks, and then in the next 2 where I've got coverage, that's where something will surprise. And usually because you have coverage in races that you think are open.
That's right. That happens a lot.
Race number 2, what's going to happen there, Terry?
All right, let me get you up here. Race number 2 is 5.5 furlongs. It's another claiming race, $15,000 claiming price. The purse is $18,500. It's Indiana Thoroughbred Development Fund for registered Indiana breds, sired by registered Indiana stallions, 3-year-olds and upward, which have never won 2 races.
So at 5.5 furlongs, it tends to favor early speed, Terry. 36% of the time they take it gate to wire. It's a little bit of a rail penalty and 2-3 penalty. So the inside 3 kind of struggle a little bit. If you go the rest of the post positions, the farther you're out, the better. So there's a little bit of an outside to inside. 4 and out, play fair. Better to be outside. 1 through 3, a little bit of a struggle, Terry. So a little bit of outside speed in race number 2 might be what we're looking for, and that belongs to Gentleman Logan.
That's correct. But all of these show some speed, especially the first 3 post positions and that outside one. And then the 3 has a nice overlay. It's supposed to be like, I don't know, it's about 4 to 5, and it's listed at 2 to 1 on the morning line. 1, 2, and 4 have the best C-zone numbers.
Yeah, nice and dark green for that trio. Our pace handicapping sheet. So you see here, a lot of speed in this one, Terry. You got that triangle where everybody's on the left and a little bit of the point on the right, with the 1 being the lone closer. So that means everybody but that 1's going to be forwardly placed. Concord, if they all go too fast, could take advantage of that if it had some of the best late speed in here, but it really doesn't. It's really middle of the pack there. As far as early speed is concerned, however, you do see that Concord, the closer, does indeed match up. So once again, you have a closer. The left arrow horse should be involved in the beginning. River Ant, however, has the most early speed, also the most late speed, if we check that out again, which means it's going to have the top total pace by a pretty decent margin, about 8 points better than the next. It's one of those horses, Terry, that I often say you can't pass what you can't catch. And both of us think that it won't be caught, at least when they hit the finish line.
That's right, because a River Ant now drops in class. His best start speed is fastest among today's starters. He's actually tied with another horse. Finished 3rd versus Tupper in his last race, and has a high percentage winning jockey who in the last 7 days has been in the money at 16 out of 33 starts, winning 9 of those. Number 5 is my second choice, Bumpy. He ran 2nd versus Simmer in his last race, has a high percentage winning trainer, and wins 20% of the sprints he has an entry in. Gentleman Logan, the 7th, my 3rd pick. He drops in class today, and his early speed running style helps his chances. 4 is my long shot. He finished 3rd versus Similar in his last race, and has a high percentage winning trainer and jockey. I'm going to play a 50-cent pick 4. I'm going to use the 3-5 with the 3-4-5 with the 4-5 with the 3-8.
I agree with you. The Ant, the River Ant there, is going to be the one to beat as the top total pace horse. Down in class, last time out, it ran an open company in allowance to now running in state bred claiming after running the top last race speed figure. And in that open company, just missed by 3/4 of a length. So in some respects, this drop is really suspicious to me, Terry. If the horse is ready to go, it should make easy work of this field. If there's something wrong and they're trying to sell it, which is my concern there, Mr. Terry, might not fire at a low price. Number 5, Bumpy, consistent performer, was close at this level last out with better 6 furlong fractions by more than 1 second compared to its prior 6 furlong start. Dolce Victoria, the Quattro. Better across the board pace numbers in the last race. And when you look at those fractions, they're actually a little quicker at 6 furlongs than they were at 5.5. I like that combination. Finally, number 1, Conquered, that lone closer, that left arrow horse, close at this level 2 back. This one's coming back down from a state bred allowance race, unlike the 3 that was running in just open company. Decent workout since the last race. I think it could have a tactical advantage in here too, with all those other horses up front, and a decent C-zone score. I'm going to do a superfecta 3 with over the 4-5 overall, over the 3 over the come on, English, Richard. Singling the 3 on top, 4-5 all over. This is supposed to be the 1-4-5. I don't know why I did that like that, but
okay.
Yeah, I mean, I can't. The 3 can't win and finish third.
No, it can't.
No, so that would be an interesting task. I suppose it could finish first and second, but to finish first and third would be so. Well, I guess it was a 3-way dead heat that could happen, right?
Yeah, it could, I guess.
That would be the only choice, and that would really be some aggressive betting if I can call a 3-way dead heat, Terry. That I think I would retire if I said this is going to be a 3-way dead heat, and it ended up being a 3-way dead heat. All right. Speaking of threes, race 3 is next on our docket.
All right. Yeah. Let's take a look at the conditions here. It's a mile race. It's optional claiming for $40,000, but the purse is $42,000. It's for registered Indiana bred fillies and mares, 3-year-olds and upward, which have never won 4 races or a claiming race of worth $40,000.
And it does favor at a mile on the dirt track at Shelbyville, Indiana. 33% of the time, horses that get to the front stay there. You do have a little bit of a rail discount, so maybe Climber might struggle a bit today with Marcelo Sarlino Pedroza Jr. in the irons. 2 through 7 play fair. Again, if you get to the 8 and outside, Terry, you get a little bit of bonus. So maybe a little outside speed in race number 3 could be what you're looking for. But unfortunately, all the speed is on the inside, it looks like.
That's right. And that Climber is a scratch, so he can't do anything. But the 2 and the 5 have the most speed, and I think they're going to go head-to-head for the quarter pole. The 3 has a overlay of about 7-5 versus 3-1 on the morning line. And the 4 on simulated odds is, again, about almost 5-1, and it's 10-1 on the morning line.
It's probably what you'll see there, too, with the scratch of the 1. And the third race, the race shape sets up. The 2, 4, and 5, they want to be forwardly placed. The 5-horse mint chocolate chip being the EP type, so probably lets the 2 or the 4 get to the lead. The 3, 6, and 7 are PC type, so if the pace is too slow, they can get up the tempo. If the pace is too fast, they can afford to be patient. Looking at the early part of the race, it looks like it's going to be pretty competitive. No more fake news is the only one that's really not going to be a part of the mix. There's really not much of a difference in any other horse in there. So getting to the front, running reasonable fractions could be the key. If they go too quick, none of these are really sporting what I would call top end, front end type numbers. Late pace belongs to Mint Chocolate Chip and Botox Katie, considerably better than the rest of the field. So they should be right there. I imagine they'll probably be second and third and fourth. Try to use those late legs to outrun everybody as they're coming down the stretch. And as you can see, the 2 of them do have the top total pace numbers by a pretty good margin over the rest of the field. I think the 3 other 5 is likely to produce the winner. Terry, how about you?
I agree with that. The mint chocolate chip is my first choice. Drops in class today. She has a high percentage winning trainer and jockey. This combination in the last 14 days has won 2 out of 6 starts, and she has the highest race speed rating. Botox Katie is the 3. My second choice, drops in class today, has won 4 races at Horseshoe Indianapolis, so likes the track, and has a win at today's distance. Number 4 is my third pick, Fashion Diva. She finished third in her last race. She is eligible to improve in her third start since of a layoff. As a trainer, wins 28% of the races in the third race off of a layoff. He doesn't run it. The horse does. But anyway, the number 2, Rev's Run. It's a long shot. She finished second in her last race and the distance will not be a problem. No bet for me in this race.
In the third race, Mint Chocolate Chip did run the top last race, speed figure, and that was in a $100,000 non-graded stakes race. As I mentioned, the horse should get a pretty good trip. EP horse, I think it sits behind the front runners and then tries to get itself positioned in front of the 3 and then outrun the 3 to the finish line. If not, Botox Katie did win a non-graded stakes $100,000 type 2 races back. It's going to close. It is a closer. Last time out, I think ran about 6 furlongs. So getting the extra distance today is going to benefit Botox Katie. Number 6, Miss Love Shack. Left arrow horse, cut back in distance, might help after holding speed a little bit longer last time out. And then finally, number 4, Fashion Diva, one that could be the pace setter in here, Terry. Third up for Jeffrey Greenhill, 29% angle, third off a layoff for Mr. Greenhill relative to 12% overall. That is a super alpha angle for the trainer. I'm going to do a try. Again, I think the 3 and the 5 are the ones to beat over the 3, 5, 6, over the 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So that means your 2, Terry, is absolutely guaranteed to finish in the money. So bet the 2 to place or show, since I left that one out. You know that's how it always works, right?
That is, yes.
Yeah. Race 4 is next on our docket as well today, Terry. So we go our way through this 8-race thoroughbred card and then a quarter horse race in race number 9. Allowance race here in race 4.
That's right. It's a 6 furlongs, $43,000 allowance race with a purse of $43,000. It's for registered Indiana breds, sired by registered Indiana stallions, 3-year-olds and upward, which have never won 3 races.
Maybe we should have registered ourselves as stallions before we had kids, Terry.
And we might have, huh?
Our kids could have got a bonus somewhere along the line. Who knows? All right. In race number 4 at 6 furlongs, as we talked a little bit about in the opener, early speed does tend to be the way to get to the winner's circle. About 40% of the time, they do so by coming out of the gates, getting to the lead, staying on the lead, and then taking the checkered flag as the leader all the way around the track. Most of the post positions are fair. You do get a little bit of a discount if you wear the pink 8 or out, Terry. So early speed is the way in race number 4, perhaps on the inside, and you're going to find all of it on the inside today.
Yeah, that's right. The 2 has the most speed according to our program here with the 4 and a 1 there. So it's kind of anybody guess who's going to get there first, although I think the 2 might have the best chance. The 4 has a small overlay of just about, what is that, about 7 to 5, 8?
Yeah,
6,
it's going to be 6. It's 1 to
6
2
to
would
5
be a 3 to
versus,
2.
Yeah,
Mhm.
versus about 8 to 5.
Mhm.
And this 7 as well has a small overlay. It's supposed to be just over 3 to 1 and listed at 4 to 1. All but the 3 have decent C-zone numbers.
Yeah, you see some dark green with the 6 and the 2 as your top C-zone score type horses. In the 4th race, again, you don't have a horse that's lead dependent at all in here. So the 2 horse is capable of piloting or co-pilot. The 1 and the 6, they definitely want to co-pilot. The 4, that's the wild card in here, the lone PC. So the 2 and the 4 are those Sesame Street horses, as I call them. They look something unlike the others. As far as the early part of the race is concerned, you do see that the 2 and the 4 are the ones that are likely to set the tone early on, which is probably where they want to be. The 3 horse so far, King of the Rainbow, hasn't been within 5 lengths of the leader in its races up to the last 10. Late speed, if you want to see which horse is going to bring it on at the end, Bonnet Chere, the closer, does have some absolute late legs in there. Again, pretty competitive, except for the 2, 5, and 3. Everybody else is in the same zip code, at least almost the same neighborhood. Total pace, if you're a pace player, is that 4 horse, Tay, then Bon Chéri. A little bit of a drop-off to everybody else from there, Terry. What do you think is going to happen when they cross the finish line?
Well, I've got the number 5 is my first choice, Good Forever. He ran 12th after being eased in his last race, and I'm not sure why, but I'm going to ignore that race for the time being. Drops in class today, and returning to a sprint should help. Number 4, Tay, the one you mentioned, he finished 3rd versus Tougher in his last race, drops in class today. Best start speed is fastest among today's starters. He's actually tied with the 7, but he's my second choice, and the 7 is my third choice, Wire the Cash. He has the highest speed figure at today's distance. His best start speed is fastest among today's starters, and he has a high percentage winning jockey. Number 1, One Way Ray. He won his last race at Horseshoe Indianapolis, has a high percentage winning jockey, who in the last 7 days has had 9 wins, 3 seconds, and 4 thirds out of 33 starts. No bit for me in this race.
I'm going to start off with the 7-horse, Wire the Cash, Terry, making Charles's favorite handicapping angle, third start after layoff. And in the previous two, it upped its speed figure. So continuation up the ladder is what I'm looking for today for Wire the Cash. Number 4, Tay, drops from $100,000 now in a grade stakes race after producing the top last race speed figure. And that came from being better late. I like sprinters that show more stamina at the end. That's what you're going to see from Tay. Number 2, Bruster Justice. This one's likely to set the tone early on, Terry. If it can hold its lead into the stretch, its confidence will grow. In fact, when it's held its lead into the stretch, it's been really difficult to beat. Number 5, Good Forever. Like you said, we got to toss out that last race, Terry, because it walked off the course, but you don't know really what happened. So I want to see the horse come back, prove it can run. But prior to walking off the course, it did finish first or second in 7 of its other 8 races. For me, trifecta, 4-7, 2-4-7, over to 2, 4, 5, 7, and 8. In race number 4, 4 plus 1, Terry, brings us to race number 5. Share the particulars.
All right. In race number 5, it's a mile on the turf. It's an optional claiming race of 40,000. The purse is 38,000. It's for fillies and mares, 3-year-olds and upward, which have never won 12,000 twice other than maiden, claiming, starter, restricted, or Indiana bred, or which have never won 3 races or claiming price of 40,000. Oof.
Yeah, that will keep you kind of busy, right?
Yep.
Yeah, as far as the way to the winner's circle goes at a mile in the turf, you want stalkers. You don't necessarily want to be on the lead, although 28 out of 100 horses that get to the front will stay there, so it's not a killer. There's a pretty strong rail edge, so Keradina Leka maybe has a shot there to get the job done on the rail. 2 and 3, a little bit of a bonus. You go with the 4, the yellow 4, and beyond, a little bit of a discount. That group tends to play under par, Terry. So maybe horses in the first 3, 1, 2, 3 posts that have a little bit of tactical speed. It looks like the 2-horse has a ton of speed, though.
It does. The 2 has speed, but along with that is the 5. So they're probably going to try to go to head and head to get to that quarter pole. And the 3 has an overlay. It's supposed to be even money on the simulated odds at 3-1 on the morning line. All of these have some season numbers that are okay. Some are pretty good, but the 3.
And the 3-horse gets the overlay on the simulation odds, but doesn't score well on the others. So 1 out of 3. I prefer usually like 2 out of 3 to revisit my picks. The 5-horse over here, Terry, could have a race advantage. Covenant Lady as what looks like a lone E-horse. The 2-horse, Tasweya, that one should be right in there as well. So if the 5 or the 2 can get to the lead, maybe they can run some decent fractions. The 5 being the 1 as a lone E-type, gets to the front, could be comfortable up in there, Terry. You do have the 2, the 5, and the 8 distinctively faster than everybody else, scoring 10 to 12 points more. That's 2 lengths. Every 5 points equals approximately 1 length. So that trio could be 2 lengths in front of everybody else at the quarter-mile marker. Got to be careful not to go too fast, however. If they go too fast, you have a bunch of horses in here, at least 4 of them. The 6, Tap Dancing Lady, the 3-horse, Timeless Rose, the 7, Hermana, and then the 1-horse, Queradina Leka. They have a pretty good late pace relative to everybody else, especially that first 3. Total pace paints a picture of a pretty even race, with the exception of maybe Taswala and Bumble of Love. That's just the pace setup in there, Terry. It doesn't necessarily translate always to the track. Competitive race in race number 5, Terry. What do you think is going to happen?
Well, I like number 8, Frozen Solid, as my first pick. Comes in to try Horseshoe Indianapolis for the first time. It has a high percentage winning trainer and jockey. Timeless Rose, the 3-horse, ran second in her last race. Her best dirt speed is fastest among today's starters. She has a high percentage winning jockey who in the last 7 days won 7 out of 28 starts. My second choice. My third choice is the 1-horse. She has a high percentage winning trainer, wins 24% of the races when shipping a horse into race, and has a high percentage winning jockey. And this trainer jockey combination in the last 14 days has won 2 out of 4 starts. The number 2 horse is my long shot, finished 3rd in her last race, and she has a high percentage winning trainer and jockey. I'm going to play a 50-cent pick 4. I'm going to use the 3-8 with the 3-4-6-7 with the 1-2-6-7-11 with the 2-3-5-6.
All right. I'm going to start off with Frozen Solid 2. This one is a track dropper and a class dropper. Like that combination. Going to go long for the first time for trainer Brian Lynch. Good young trainer there. Doesn't enter very many at Horseshoe Indianapolis. So far, only 3 took home the top prize in 2 of 3. Timeless Rose, the 3-horse, missed by a neck last time out. Did run better early pace figures through the first half mile. Hopefully, that translates to continued momentum in the third start after a layoff. Number 4, Bumble of Love, is the classic horse for the course at Horseshoe Indianapolis on the turf. 8 times, won 5 of those races, Terry. Everything else, 17 times out, only 2 wins. So clearly likes that grass in Indiana. Number 1, Quer Adia Leca, won 2 of its 3 races on turf. Oddly, the lone miss was at Horseshoe Indianapolis, but continuing on the oddity streak, that lone miss was also its best speed figure on the turf course. So I don't know what you make of that. Runs its best number, but runs out of the money. I'm going to do a pick 4, the 3, the 4, the 8 with the 3, 7, 8, the 1, 2, 6, 7 with the 2, 3, and 5, Mr. Terry.
All right.
Got a couple. Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, you were going to say something.
I was going to say we just have 3 races to go on the thoroughbreds, but what do you got to say?
Okay, so on the next race is the 6th race, and we've got a 1 mile allowance race, $36,000 allowance price. Purse is $36,000 for 3-year-olds and upward, which have never won $10,000 once other than the maiden, or claiming, or starter, or state bred, or Indiana bred, or which have never won 2 races.
Going back to the previous start in race number 5, Christopher D'Souza, big fan of the 5-horse there. See if that good C-zone score can come through as for our number 1 C-zone player there. Christopher D'Souza hit a really nice trifecta to start Parks yesterday too, with the straight up C-zone tri-box. In race 6, when they go 1 mile on the dirt course, Terry, again, the early speed factor does come into play with 1 out of 3 horses getting to the front, staying on the front, and running straight into the winner's circle. You do have a little bit of a rail discount, so maybe Cousin Larry, maybe he might be the black sheep of the family today because of the post position. 2 through 7, they play fair. 8 and out, a little bit of a bonus, Terry. So in race number 6, a little bit of outside speed might do in race number 6. Let's see who might meet that. Well, Dioro's Wish does meet that criteria.
Yeah, it has double the outside speed according to percent lead at the quarter pole than the other horses. And the only other ones that show some speed is 5 and the 4. The 1 has an overlay, pretty nice, almost 2 to 1 versus 6 to 1 on the morning line. The 8 has a small overlay, 5 to 2 versus 7 to 2. And all of them but the 3 show some kind of C-zone numbers. So.
Indeed, they do. Our pace shape should like outside speed should work. So if indeed we do find a little bit of late speed out there on the outside, we do see the 4-horse is the lone EP type, Call of Honor. Doesn't have to be on the lead. This one's probably going to run a race that it makes it feel comfortable. As far as the early speed, Dioro's Wish, the PC type, does have the most early speed in there. We saw that in the simulation, so wouldn't be surprised to see that one go out. Those 2 should be maybe a length and a half ahead of everybody else, unless they decide to pull back a little bit on the tempo, because there's really not a ton of early speed in here. These others have pretty average numbers. The 2-horse Bull Brayer is going to be way behind Terry, along with JR's Gift. They're going to have a lot of late speed to make that up. They're going to probably be somewhere maybe 4 or 5 lengths behind. So they're going to have a 4 or 5 length late speed advantage over everybody else. The only one that they have that over is the 4-horse. So that court, those 2 might really struggle, the 2 and the 6, to find their way into the winner's circle. They're going to have to probably pull up a little bit closer today than normal. Our total top pace horse goes to Dioro's Wish, 4 points better than Dog Red, and those 2 score well above the rest of the field. The 8 or the 5, wouldn't be surprised, Terry, to see one of those duo produce the winner.
All right. Well,
I certainly hope it's the 8, not the 5, because neither one of us has the 5, and you don't have the 8.
No, and I'm going to start out with the 7 as my first choice closer. 1 is last race at Horseshoe Indianapolis, has a high percentage winning trainer and jockey, and this combination or jockey in the last 7 days has won 4 out of 11 starts with 2 seconds. The 4 is my second choice, Call of Honor, has won 3 of the last 5 races, winning the last race easily, and has best dirt speed as fastest among today's starter. Number 6, JR Skiff, is my third choice. He drops in class today and has a high percentage winning jockey. And then the 3, Me and Chili, is my long shot, won his last race at Horseshoe Indianapolis and has a bullet workout on July 11th. I have no bet here because I've already spent all my money.
He's out of his $100 in our $100 challenge. It's what we are about here today and every day, $100. And we try to spread it out and try to find some winners. Dioro's Wish, the 8 horses at Left Arrow horse, Terry, that PC type, going to be close to the pace, if not on the pace. Does have that track bias with the outside getting a bonus, so you should benefit from that. I think catching a little bit of extra distance today is going to work to Dioro Wish's benefit as well. Number 7, Tabagouche. Anyway, that is a Brad Cox horse, one of the best trainers in the country. And 2 races ago did show some stakes level late pace. Going to need that probably here. Me and Chili, the 3 horse, up speed figure in its last 2, making the 3rd start off a layoff. So trying to make it 3 in a row. Does have that bullet workout in between races. So I like the horses that are trending in the right direction. And then you see in the practice track that trend continues with a robust effort. Finally, Call of Honor did run the top last race speed figure. When he's on the lead, look out. I don't know that he's going to get the lead here today, but he could. On the fast track, 9 times out, 4 wins, and a second, nothing else. So pretty much all or nothing. Get to the front, stay in the front, or finish off the board. Trifecta for me, 7-8 over 3-7-8 over 3, 4, 5, 7, and 8. 2 races to go, Mr. Terry, including at least thoroughbred races, including race number 7.
That's right. And this race is a 1 mile on the turf. It's allowance 30,000 versus 32,000. It's for 3-year-olds and upward, which have started for a claiming price of 30,000 or less, and which have never won a race other than a maiden claiming, waiver claiming, starter, or state bred.
A lot of stuff there. They're making it confusing. You need one of those abacuses to figure out what in the heck's going to go on there. Christopher D'Souza in race number 6, digging the 1. Going to do the 1-7 try 5 box with a was it a smiley face there? I don't know what that emoji is. I'm not. I don't even.
It's a box.
Is that a? Yeah, no. That's a. There's an emoji at the end. I don't know what that.
Yeah,
emoji
it's a
is.
box.
It's a box. I'm blind. I see. All right. Well, an emoji box. I'm not really good at speaking emoji, Terry. How about you?
No, not really. Kids have me, they got me all confused. So.
In a mile and on the turf, Terry, we're looking for stalkers, horses probably that want to be forwardly placed, not necessarily on the lead, but if you are on the front, it's not a deal killer. Still 28% of the time in a mile on the grass at Horseshoe Indianapolis. They do go wire to wire. Strong rail edge for Nerves of Steel. 2 and 3 do get a bonus as well. 4 and out, they play a little bit under par. So if you like horses 1, 2, and 3, maybe you like a 5 and out, maybe a little bit better than the 1, 2, or 3. Maybe the inside is the tiebreaker there, Terry. So in race number 7, Inside Speed, Nerves of Steel is going to be on the front. Maybe Ocean Point could be that stalker spot.
Yeah, that's right. Well, Nerves of Steel is one of the speed horses, but also the 14. So I think the 14 is going to try to outbreak that one. And then the 9 has some speed also, Kentucky Cool. The 2 shows a pretty good overlay. It's supposed to be like 6-5. It's 3-1 on the morning line. And the 7 has a really good overlay. It's supposed to be close to 5-1, and it's 10-1 on the morning line. As far as C-zones, 4, 5, 14, and 8 have the most C-zone numbers.
Yeah, they are definitely the darkest green, that quartet. All right, pace shape. We got 2 races to go. Look at this race. It's kind of crazy there, Terry. I'm off by a race. Hold on. You see here the 5 and the 9, they want to be up front.
Yeah.
You got a couple of horses that want to pressure or be co-pilots. So between the 5 and the 9, you want to see one of those 2 horses on the lead if you're backing either one. And it does look like that 9 horse, 5 points better than anybody else. Kentucky Cool, likely to be your pace setter from the outside. Ocean Point, everybody else there, Terry, is pretty tightly bunched up there afterwards, except for maybe the 3 horse, Jedrick. So Jedrick better have some late speed. As far as late speed is concerned, look at that. Ocean Point, Terry, the pressure horse, probably going to sit behind the 5 to 9, maybe a couple of others that want to get to the front there. 5-point late pace advantage over Jedrick, who will be way behind everybody else at the start, maybe 2-3 lengths off the pace, unless jockey pushes a little bit when the gates open. Finally, the total pace, Ocean Point scoring 8 points better than Circle Back Jack and a couple of others. 2-horse, Terry, 8 points. That's borderline must play, Terry, but I think somehow you overlooked that one.
Well, I think I have. Don't I have that in my? Yeah, I have it in my pick 4.
Okay.
Anyway, it's my first alternate, so I like the one Nerves of Steel. My first pick. He ran second versus similar in his last race. Has the highest speed figure at today's distance. His best start speed is fastest among today's starters. And he has a high percentage winning trainer and jockey, so he marks a lot of boxes. Number 11, Great Coolness, is my second choice. Won his debut race at Horseshoe Indianapolis easily on the turf at today's distance, and only needs to repeat that race to win again. Rockin' Justice, the 6 is my third pick, finished in the money in 4 of his last 5 races, running second in his last race, and has the highest last speed rating. He's actually tied with another horse. Jackson's Gold is my long shot, the 7. He finished third in his last race, has the highest last speed rating, and also a good workout on July 12th. As I said before, I'm out of money, so there's no bet for me in this race.
Ocean Point gets the top call for me. Extremely consistent in terms of outputting high quality starts, Terry. Did tie for the top last race. Speed figure, a couple of other horses. Going to drop in class here. And what I liked about the 2 horses, it's been running what I call key races. It runs in races, doesn't necessarily win them, but the horses that beat him come back to win the next time out. So he's running against quality horses and just missing. Number 1, Nerves of Steel, rides the hot rail, Terry. Back class at Tier 1 tracks like Gulfstream Park, Santa Anita, Del Mar. That first trip, though, over the Horseshoe track didn't go so well. Does have a nice trio of workouts getting ready to try again. Number 6, Rockin' Justice, Horseshoe Indianapolis grass, 6 times 3 wins, 2 seconds. One of the 3 to tie for the top last 3 speed figure, and did show some outstanding early pace numbers for the first quarter and half mile last out. Jackson's Gold, 3 consecutive speed figure increases. That, according to Barry Meadows, is an alpha angle that wins at 15% or more. Again, one of those to tie for the best speed figure last time out. Does have a maintenance workout, not the best between races, but just enough with to keep the horse sharp. $1 double for me, Terry, basically because I had $4 left. 2 over to 2, 3, 5, and 6. So a little foreshadowing for the final thoroughbred race of the day, race number 8. Take it away on race 8, Terry, with the particulars.
All right, let me do that. It's 7.5 furlongs on the turf. It's a maiden claiming for $30,000. Purse is $28,000, and it's for maidens, fillies 2 years and older,
Yeah,
or
so
2 years old. I mean,
babies running
Babies,
7.5 furlongs
yes,
on the
babies.
turf. You have no idea what's going to happen, Terry, there at all. But what we do know is so far at Horseshoe Indianapolis, they've run 12 races at the distance. Closers have been dominant, although one horse did go wire to wire. So maybe you got to either be first or be first or be way back. Don't be in the middle. There's a strong rail advantage there. So Strange Joy might outrun those 20-1 odds. Going to have to improve a lot off that last race, though. 2 through 3 play fair. 4 and 7 play a little bit under par. 8 and out, they go back to being fair, Terry. Oof, kind of tough to tell what you want here. Well, it looks like you want a closer in here, Terry. So maybe you want to avoid the early speed horses. And that looks like, hold on a second, race number 8. Where's the early speed?
well, the 5 and the 7 show the most early speed, so we don't know who's going to get there first. The 2 has a fairly decent overlay. It's supposed to be 4 to 5, and it's listed about 8 to 5. The 5 has a small overlay. So it's like 6.5 to 1 versus 8 to 1. And the 7 has the best C-zone number.
Yeah, it's the only one really with a green one. Everybody else is red, right? You don't want red. So here we see in that last race, this really peculiar race shape. So far, the 3 horses making its first start, so you don't know what it's going to bring to the table. The 5 horse showed an ability to close, so it wasn't got beat, but maybe not by a whole lot. Everybody else so far hasn't been within 5 lengths of the leader in their limited efforts, so not a lot of data there to work off of. What we've seen so far is Aim Higher, Eurocool, Baytown, Bama. They're going to get to the front, Terry, and have a pretty good lead over everybody else, at least if what we see so far holds true. Late pace number, you do got a pretty good advantage for the Dublai, the 2 horse. scoring 8 points better than the next. Total pace, Terry, 2 horses kind of stand out here a little bit. The 6, the 2, little pretty good drop off to the 5, even bigger drop off from there. Catholic Girl being the wild card as the first time starter, Terry. I think we both think it has a shot. Didn't put it first, though.
All right. Well, I actually like the 5 Baytown Bomber Girl as my first pick. She ran second versus similar in her last race. Dublé, number 2 is my second choice. She drops in class today, has the highest speed limit, has the highest last speed rating, and her best dirt speed is fastest among today's starters. Number 6, Aim Higher. She drops in class today. Her breeding suggests she will like the grass, and she has a trainer wins 22% of the races when taking a horse from maiden to maiden claimant. And then the 3, Catholic Gal, is the long shot. She is a first-time starter, has a high percentage winning trainer and jockey. No bet for me, but before I go on, you actually have $4 less, so you can change that double to $2 double from a $1 double.
Well, that's okay. I'll leave it be. Baytown Bema Girl benefits from the 9 scratching, I feel like, has our good friend Christopher Parmalu. His angle, horse that finished second in its prior maiden race, only has to beat 1 horse today. According to Chris, he says it's his favorite angle. Won him a lot of money, so let's put Chris's angle to play here. Going to go longer in its second route race on turf, and I think that extra distance today could help. Number 2, Dublé. This one's track dropper, as well as a maiden special weight dropper. Coming off the top last race speed figure. Probably going to be a heavy favorite in here, Terry. Catholic Girl, I'm not sure there's a lot to beat beyond the first 2, and even if those are a lot to beat. So we'll give the first timer a shot off of a decent series of works. Nothing spectacular in the works, though. Finally, Aim Higher. 6 horse is a maiden special weight dropper. First time on the grass. The turf breeding is okay. But if it can rerun its debut, that speed figure on turf would make easy work of this group. No bet for me either, despite having $4 left. Terry, I don't have it itching my pocket like you and Charles do. You guys got to get it all out. I'm not like
That's
that.
right. We get the whole 100 out there. So
you guys do.
Anyway.
I'm not so like that. All right, race 9, Terry, is the what I call popcorn or the lottery races. 250 yards, maiden special weight, 17,000. For me, I like the 9, the 3, the 2, the 5. I can't tell you why, but Terry will tell you why he likes his order.
Well, I like the 9, A Political Ocean, because he finished 4th in his last race, or his last race, and only lost by 3/4 of the length. Number 3, Fueled by Ivory, finished 3rd in her last race. Number 5, Bocha Corona, she comes in from Los Alamitos. This is really curious. To race at Horseshoe Indianapolis, and she has a bullet workout on July 7th. So watch out for this one. Number 8, Divine Miss B, has some decent workouts. So
there you go. So Terry likes that. Our full picks for today's card at Horseshoe Indianapolis look a little bit like this. I have to look over my camera. That's from stretching my neck like a giraffe. Here are our full picks today for Horseshoe Indianapolis today. Tomorrow, you and I will be back, Terry, about 10 minutes before the first post at Saratoga. Again, tonight, make sure you join in with Sean and Jamie as they talk with the clerk of scales today. You'll learn a little bit about what happens there when the jockeys and everybody weigh in and what kind of allowances they get, if any. I don't know if it's like boxing or not, or like wrestling where you got to be spot on or under. It'd be interesting to see that as well. Again, if you haven't, check out last night's show. Wonderful guest, Matilda Bernhardt. She's an up-and-coming jockey. I'm sure you'll hear more about. And then no Foreign Friday on Friday. One other thing real quick I want to mention before we forget. Our good friend, Andre Ramgeet, Julie's husband, who co-hosts with Sean on Horse Center, had an accident why do I keep thinking September? On July the 15th, you can see there in the hospital, broke a few vertebrae, if I remember correctly. GoFundMe, there is a link in the description below. You'll find it also on our social sites. Kindly help Julie and Andre and their family, and they're a part of the Horse Racing Today family, reach their goal because, jockeys, when they get hurt, Terry, there's really not a lot backstopping them except for the fan base.
That's right. They don't have anything but because they can't get workers' comp, I don't believe, or anything like that. So, yeah.
And they're 1099 employees too.
Yeah, so let's help them out. I challenge everybody to make a donation and to help them out. So everybody that listens to us,
if you win anything today, donate some of those winnings. Today's free track of the day, Belterra Park. It's free again. Yesterday we thought we had a pretty good day. I think we'll have a pretty good day at Belterra Park again. Race 1, the 6-horse column is a best bet, 3-1. The 6-horse. Hopefully it comes through for you. Again, you can find that link down in the description below. It is a wagering guide week. Christopher D'Souza in race 9 back at Horseshoe Indianapolis. He likes the 5-horse over there from the Bubblegum Horses. I can't tell you why, but he's probably got a good reason for it.
Yep.
It is a wagering guide weekend. The Haskell big race coming up. We'll have a little bit more information on the wagering guide a little bit later on. Probably tomorrow I'll have an update on that, Terry, as to what you can post. Could be a little bit surprised there. Again, our full picks are here. Terry, any final thoughts on this Hollywood Hump Day? Hey, yeah. Hollywood Hay Hump Day. I got to make it rhyme. Hollywood Hay Hump Day.
Hump Day.
A rhyming alliteration. Any final thoughts?
Well, just stay, cool. Don't get too hot. Watch out for any of those flash floods, and give your loved ones a hello, a hi, and a love and a kiss.
Indeed. Terry and I look forward to joining you again tomorrow. Between here and there, we certainly hope that everything that you do does experience God's favor, God's grace, and it ends up in our favorite place, Terry. That is
the winner's circle.
And thanks for joining us today. Look forward to sharing time again tomorrow. Have a fantastic Hollywood Hay Hump Day.